Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Speaker English Channel,
where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Emily.
Hello, Emily. Hi, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here today. I'm very, very excited for this episode.
I am happy to hear that, Paul. You look very energetic today. Do you have your coffee?
Yes, I do. I have a big coffee today. It is very hot and very delicious. And you, Emily, how are you doing?
I am doing great, thank you. The weather is beautiful today. It is sunny and warm. It is a perfect day to talk about our new topic.
Oh, yes. Today we have a very interesting topic. We are talking about work, but a specific kind of work.
That's right. Today we are talking about English for the construction site and for meetings at work.
Wow, that is very useful. Many people work in construction and everyone has meetings.
Exactly. It can be a little scary to speak English at work, especially when the environment is busy or loud. But we are here to help.
Yes, we are. But wait, before we start our conversation, we have a small favor to ask our friends listening.
Oh, yes. If you like our podcast, please click the like button. It helps us a lot.
When you subscribe, you don't miss our new episodes. We make them for you.
Yes, and share this with your friends and family. If they are learning English for work, maybe this can help them too.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, Emily, let's start. When I think of a construction site, I think of many people, big machines, and a lot of noise.
You are right, Paul. A construction site is a very busy place. There are many important words to know. For example, safety. Safety is the number one priority.
Safety. That is a big word. It means staying away from danger, right?
Yes, exactly. On a construction site, you must wear special clothes. Do you know what they are?
I know you need a special hat. A very hard hat.
Yes, it is actually called a hard hat. It protects your head. It is usually yellow or white.
A hard hat. Okay. And what about your feet? You cannot wear sandals on a construction site.
No, definitely no sandals. You need safety boots. They are very strong and protect your toes if something heavy falls.
Safety boots. I like that. And sometimes workers wear a bright vest, right?
Yes, a safety vest. It is usually bright orange or green so everyone can see you. Being visible is very important when there are big trucks moving around.
I see. So we have the hard hat, the safety boots, and the safety vest. That is the basic PPE.
Wow, Paul, you know a professional word. PPE stands for Personal Protective Equipment. But for beginners, safety gear is a great phrase to use.
Safety gear. That is easier to remember. So, Emily, imagine I am at the construction site. What do I say to my boss or my team?
Well, you might talk about the site. The site is the place where you are building something. You can ask, how is the site today? Or is the site safe?
Okay. And what if I'm working on a specific part of the building?
You can use words like foundation, walls, or roof. For example, we are finishing the walls today, or the roof will be ready next week.
Those are good words. What about the tools? There are so many tools.
Yes, but you don't need to know them all on the first day. You can start with hammer, drill, and ladder.
A ladder. I use a ladder at home when I need to paint or clean.
Exactly. On a site, you might say, can you pass me the hammer, please? Or, is the ladder stable?
Is the ladder stable? That is a very important question for safety.
It really is. Now, Paul, construction isn't just about hammers and bricks. There's a lot of talking, too, especially in meetings.
Oh, the meetings. I sometimes feel nervous in meetings, even in my office.
I understand. Meetings can be stressful. But remember what we talked about in our confidence episode?
Yes. Start small, smile, and stand tall.
Exactly. In a work meeting, it is good to have a plan. Usually, there's an agenda.
An agenda. Is that like a list of topics?
Yes, it is a list of things to talk about. At the start of a meeting, the boss might say, "Let's look at the agenda."
Okay. And what if I want to say something? I don't want to be rude and interrupt.
That is a great question. You can use polite phrases. For example, "Excuse me, may I say something?" Or, "I have a question about the project."
I have a question about the project. That sounds very professional, Emily.
It does, and it is very simple English. You don't need big words to be professional.
What if someone is talking too fast? Sometimes engineers or architects talk very fast about blueprints.
Oh, blueprints. Those are the drawings or plans for the building. If someone is too fast, don't be afraid. Use the tip from our previous chat. Say, "I'm sorry, can you speak a little slower, please?" Or, "Can you repeat that, please?"
Yes, it is much better to ask than to be confused. In construction, a mistake because of a misunderstanding can be expensive or dangerous.
That is very true. Communication, not perfection, right?
Yes, I'm glad you remembered that. Now, in a meeting, we often talk about the deadline.
The deadline. That is the date when the work must be finished, like your report with Mr. Henderson.
Exactly. On a construction site, the deadline is very important. You might hear, "What is the deadline for the foundation?" Or, "We must finish by Friday."
Friday. It's always Friday.
It's always Friday. Why is Friday always the deadline?
I don't know, Paul, but it is a very common day for deadlines. Another important word is progress. The boss wants to know the progress of the work.
So progress is how much work is done.
Yes, you can say, "We are making good progress," or "The project is on schedule."
On schedule. That means everything is happening at the right time.
Perfect. You are a natural at this. But what if there's a problem? What if the project is behind schedule?
Oh no, behind schedule sounds bad. It means we are late.
Yes, if you are late, you might need to explain why. Maybe the weather is bad, or we are waiting for materials.
Materials, like bricks, cement, and wood?
Yes, we are waiting for the bricks. It is a simple sentence, but it explains the problem clearly.
This is very helpful, Emily. I feel like I could go to a construction site right now and talk to the team.
Maybe you should get your hard hat first, Paul.
Yes, my yellow hard hat. Emily, what about the people at work? In our last conversation, we talked about Tom and Sarah. Tom talks a lot, and Sarah is quiet. How do they act in a meeting?
Well, in a construction meeting, you have different roles. You might have the foreman, that's the person in charge of the workers. You have the architect, the person who designed the building, and you have the contractor.
Wow, many names. But the communication is the same, right?
Yes, if Tom is the foreman and he talks too much, Sarah, the architect, might need to say, "Tom, let's stay focused on the agenda."
Poor Tom. He just likes to talk. But being focused is important in meetings so they don't last 3 hours.
Yes, remember Paul's 3-hour meeting? That was too long. A good meeting is short and clear.
I agree. So if I'm in a meeting and the boss asks me, "Paul, what do you think? What should I do?"
First, take a breath. Don't worry about grammar. Just give your opinion. You can say, "I think the plan is good," or "I think we need more time."
I think we need more time. That is a very common thing to say at work.
It really is. And it is honest. Honesty is very important for safety and for finishing the project well.
Emily, this is great. We have safety gear, site vocabulary, meeting phrases, and tips for being clear. Do we have any more tips for our listeners?
Let me think. Oh, one very important thing, taking notes.
Taking notes, like writing down what people say?
Yes, in a meeting or even on the site when the boss gives instructions, write it down in your notebook.
Ah, like the budget notebook.
Exactly. When you write things down, you don't forget. And if you don't know a word, you can write it and look it up later.
That is a smart tip. It also shows the boss that you are listening and you care.
Yes, it shows you are a hard worker. And at the end of the meeting, it is always nice to say, "Thank you for the meeting," or "See you on the site tomorrow."
See you on the site tomorrow. I like that. It's friendly and professional.
It is. Well, Paul, we have talked a lot today. I think our listeners have many new words to practice.
Yes, I feel much more confident about construction sites and meetings now. It's all about the simple words and being brave.
You are right. Should we remember the main points we talked about?
Oh, yes. I remember we started with safety. That's the most important part of the site.
Yes, we talked about the hard hat, the safety boots, and the bright safety vest. We call those safety gear.
And we talked about the site itself. The building has walls, a roof, and a foundation. And if you need to reach high places, you use a ladder.
Good memory. And then we moved to the office or the site trailer for meetings.
Right. We learned about the agenda, the list of topics, and how to be polite when we want to speak or when we don't understand something.
Yes, asking someone to speak slower is a great tool for any English learner.
And don't forget the schedule. Being on schedule is good, but being behind schedule means we are late.
And finally, we talked about honesty and taking notes to remember all the details.
It was a very busy episode, Emily, just like a real construction site.
It really was, but I had so much fun. I hope our listeners found these tips useful for their jobs.
I'm sure they did. Learning English for work is a big step, and every small word helps.
It does. Well, everyone, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. It means a lot to us.
And please share this episode with a friend, maybe someone you work with.
Yes, share it with your Tom or your Sarah at work, and please leave a comment below.
Yes, we want to know, do you use English at your work? What is your job?
Or tell us, do you have a favorite tool? Is it a hammer or a screwdriver? We love reading your stories in English.
We really do. It's the best part of our day. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe on the site and be confident in your meetings.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.